hope that you're able to share it with a loved one. I've got some menu ideas for you. So today is menu 2 that I'm showing you, and I think you're spoilt for choice with all of these. I'm showing you starters, mains and desserts that are really easy to achieve using your Ninja Foodi. So for today, we're starting off with my coconut king prawns. They are absolutely delicious and very quick and easy to prepare. The main course is a favourite of mine. It is my chicken tikka masala. Who doesn't love a really good curry? This cooks under pressure with the rice in the same pot, so less washing up and effort, and a really delicious meal to share. And then for dessert, we have got mini Biscoff cakes. They're just little tiny cakes that you can make using the silicone mold in your Ninja Foodi. Again, you can make these ahead of time so you haven't got that stress in the evening to try and prepare everything using just your Ninja Foodi. I think you'll really enjoy these. So let's get into the videos where I show you how to make it all, and don't forget to give me a like if you do like the recipes, and also subscribe if you're new here. Start making our air fryer coconut prawns. We're going to start by weighing out some ingredients. In this bowl, I'm going to put some panko breadcrumbs. These are just the Blue Dragon ones that I'm using. And we want around 30-ish grams in here. And then into those, we want some coconut. So around the same amount, roughly. Let's take that off. And then in my little pot here, we're going to measure out some flour. About 30 grams of plain flour in here. And then in this one, we're just going to crack our egg. There you go. So let's give our breadcrumbs and coconut a little mix, just so that we're combining those. And then with our egg, let's just give that a little mix so that we mix that together. So with your prawns, if you're using frozen ones like I've got here, you want to defrost them and devein them. And now all we want to do with the prawns is put them in the flour, and that's going to soak up any moisture that are on them as well. At the same time, make sure that they are well covered, which it is. And then we put that straight in the egg, like so. Give it a shake, get any excess off, and then straight in to those yummy coconut breadcrumbs. Look at that. Really simple. So just takes a little bit of time, obviously, if you're making loads of these. So this is exactly what they're gonna look like when you've done these. Look at those, they look brilliant, don't they? Now, I suggest that you spritz your basket with some oil just to stop those from sticking. And then you want to lay them in an even layer. So if you're making loads of these, then maybe you might want to use the rack. Now I'm going to give the prawns a little spray of oil as well, just to help them to crispen up whilst they're cooking. So we're going to put the lid down and we're going to get these onto air fry. So let's select air fry, and I want to do these on 190, and they have a very minimal cooking time. So I'm going to go with 4 minutes, and that's just the initial cook. And then we're going to flip them over, put a little bit more oil on them, and give them probably only another 2 minutes, I would think. They really don't take very long at all. Great, let's open up the air fryer. So they're starting to get a little bit of colour on the outside, which is great. So I now turn them over, and they're not sticking at all. So definitely worth just putting a little bit of oil spray on the bottom there, just to make sure. Obviously, these are delicate little things. Prawns are now done. Look at those. Lovely and crispy. They really didn't need any longer than that. Now I'm going to serve those up on top of the rice. So just pile those up. Look at these. So crispy, and they smell so nice as well. So those are my coconut air fryer prawns. Let's get this curry started, and first thing we're going to need is a little bit of spray oil in the bottom here. Just going to turn the heat down slightly. Got that on sear and saute. And let's begin with our curry base, which is some onion. And we just want to fry that off not on too high a heat. We don't want it to burn. We just want to get that sort of translucent and slightly cooked as our base. Meanwhile, let's start getting all of our ingredients ready. It looks like loads, but this is easy. These are store-cupboard ingredients. Look how ancient my pestle and mortar is. I think I really need to get a new one, but that's what I've got today, so let's go with that. So we want to get all of our dry ingredients in to start with. If you've got fresh chili, then please do use it. I haven't, so I'm going to go with probably like half a teaspoon of chili flakes. We want a teaspoon of cumin seeds. I'm just eyeballing this roughly. Teaspoon of coriander seeds if you've got them. I haven't. I've got some ground coriander though, and that will do the job. A teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's going to give a nice warming kick. A tablespoon of smoked paprika. Oh, I love it. Put that in as well. And then 2 teaspoons of garam masala. Now we just want to blend that up together. Just moving back quickly to the onions because they are cooking pretty quickly. I'm going to add my ginger. And this is fresh ginger and garlic that I'm putting in here. And into there, I'm also going to put my diced chicken breast. And let's start getting a little bit of colour and flavour going in the pot. Everything's blended nicely together, which is brilliant. Now into my pot here, these are still the ingredients for the tikka masala paste. And we need 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. Always nice to have some fresh coriander in this as well. So I like to just go in and pick off some of the leaves like this. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ground almonds. And then we're going to open up our tin of coconut milk. We're going to get some of the really thick cream and add that in there. Let's get some of that thick cream, look at that, off the top and add that in. So around a tablespoon. And now let's mix together. Into there we can add some ginger as well, about a teaspoon. This smells so good, but just wait until we add the spices in. Let's add the spices. That's a game changer now. Look at this. You can see that creating what looks more like a curry paste that we know. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. If you want to add a little bit more garlic into this, I'm probably not going to because I've got garlic in there and that's probably enough for me. So let's get all of this paste in here with the chicken. And let's get that coated and smelling and tasting absolutely incredible. It looks really good, doesn't it? So I'm just going to give that a few moments in here while we sort out our rice and the extra ingredients we need to go in. Let's also add a little bit of salt and some black pepper as well. Even though we've got all those spices, it's still good to season it. And into here, I'm adding a whole tin of plum tomatoes. A tip that I've heard recently is to not buy chopped tomatoes. You need to always buy plum tomatoes. People say that they've got basically more flavour. And you know, like this, you can mush them up, chop them up anyway, can't you? So that is my thoughts. So I'm giving that a try. Now, as you know, if you're going to go under pressure, you need a good amount of liquid in here. Now, rather than using water, I'm going to use some coconut milk because this is fairly liquid anyway. So a little tiny bit more. And then we'll also scoop out some of that cream because that's going to be really tasty in here. Right, I've given that a good stir. I believe we should have enough liquid in here to be able to go under pressure. When I've made a curry before, I've never cooked the rice at the same time. And that's what we want to try and achieve, isn't it? So let's do that. I've got in here basmati rice and I'm going to add in and this is actually warm actually, 200 millilitres of water to that rice. Get that covered and under the water. Just make sure that it's all in the pot as it should be. This is one of the Ninja pots that I got in the bakeware set, and this is absolutely brilliant. It's a nice deep one, so if you're actually cooking for more people, then you can create loads of rice, which is great. Now I'm going to cover this with foil. That's something I always do. I think it steams it, makes it super fluffy. This can easily just sit on top of the curry. Might need to just give it a little wriggle. There you go. That is on there. So we have got curry and rice all in one pot, which is brilliant. Fingers crossed I haven't forgotten any ingredients because it was quite a long list there that I had. Lid down. Now this is a little bit of a different method for me. We're going to go on to pressure cook, as we always do. Make sure that your vent is on seal. Really important as always, because you're not going to come to pressure if not. Still going to keep it on high. We're going to go down to 0 minutes, but this time I'm going to have a natural release. So we're going to have all that build up of pressure where it's cooking. And then, yeah, it's not going to actually cook for any minutes, but we've got that long natural release that is going to cook that rice. Fingers crossed, it works. Let's go. So the natural release that we've got on this has taken nearly 12 minutes. You will find though, if you turn the valve at the top to vent, you'll just get rid of that last little bit, because sometimes like this, you can't actually open the slider until you've done that and got rid of that. So that's what I'm doing now. I can now open the lid and let's have a little look inside. Zero problems with it coming to pressure, so clearly we had enough liquid in there, which is brilliant. Just going to take the rack out with the rice in there and just pop it in here. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Nice and thick, not too runny. Chicken looks really good. Over here, let's have a look at our rice, because as I said, I don't normally do it this way. It's looking pretty good. Look at the rice. It looks great. It's cooked, it's fluffy. I think this has worked brilliantly. Here is my curry. I'm so pleased with how this went. We've got super fluffy rice, look at that. And we've got a gorgeous flavoursome tikka masala. Let's make Biscoff mini cakes. These are absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to start by weighing out our ingredients. Going to just put this onto my scales here. I'm using some stork, which is great for cakes, but you can use a butter, whatever you've got is good. And we want to start by adding in 100 grams into here. Into there, you want to add your sugar. I'm using caster sugar, so we want another 100 grams. Let's cream those two together. Into the creamed butter and sugar, we add 2 eggs, around 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I've got this really thick vanilla paste here. And then I want to add 2 tablespoons of Biscoff spread. So let's get that mixed together. I've just scraped down the sides and you can see we've got this really nice loose batter here. We need to add in our flour and our baking powder next. So back on the scales just to weigh that in, and 100 grams of your self-raising flour and a teaspoon of baking powder. You can either do this by hand or you can put this back on your mixer. Doesn't take a lot, to be honest, now just to mix this together. And it smells great because you've got that Biscoff spread in there. So I've greased this silicone mold. I don't really know if I need to, but you know when you think to yourself, if I don't, am I going to regret it? Will they not come out very well? And I'll be really cross with myself. So anyway, I've done that. So I've just used a little bit more of the stalk and gone around the edges just to hopefully mean that these come out nice and easily. I found that the best thing to do is to allow them to cool completely in the silicone before you try to remove them. And I think these are going to take anything between 20 to 25. My chocolate chip cupcakes, I believe they took 25 in the end to be fully cooked through. Do have to remember that with silicone, it doesn't conduct the heat in the same way that metal does. So do find they take a little bit longer. So we're just going to sit this on top of the rack. It's exactly how I did it before. Let's lower that in. Get the lid down on the Ninja and some power. Now, I personally like to put these on to bake. I think it works really well. I like my temperature on 180 and I'm going to go with 20, and I do think we're going to need to increase it to 25, but that way it just reminds me to keep an eye on them. So 20 to start with, see how they're doing, and probably an extra 5. So they had 25 minutes in the end, which is what we thought they would need. And they are so soft and spongy and almost sticky. Oh my God, they literally smell amazing. So what I've done is they would have come out that way up. So that is the dipped bottom that you get in the silicone mold. So what I have done is I've just literally just taken the very tops off, just so they sit really nicely. Of course, you don't have to do this. I didn't do it with my other cupcakes. Because I wanted to decorate these, I just felt that this was a better way of doing it. So what I'm going to do now is grab some Biscoff, and we're going to melt a little bit of this to make a drizzle on the top. And let's go microwave this, and we can drizzle that over the top. Whilst it's in the microwave, I'm going to grab some Biscoff biscuits. So I'm just going to give them a crush up in the packet. Pour that in. We've got a nice crumb now. Here we go. Let's give that a little stir. That is perfect. Look at that. Just go for it, I think. Just pour a little bit on the top and just let it drip down the sides. Gorgeous. Now on those ones that have got the spread, you can just sprinkle your lovely crumbed biscuits over the top. So you may think they look a little bit messy, but I think they look really good. I think they look absolutely delicious. And of course, if you want to make yours a little bit neater, then you can do that. But I'm happy with these. Can you see there the texture of that cake? How absolutely moist they are.